Hey everyone, this is Josh with Josh Wright Piano TV. Today's video is in response to Jamie's question. She had asked about the third movement of the Moonlight Sonata. I actually don't play that sonata very often, and I figured it may be more effective to demonstrate the concepts she's asking, because she asked a broad concept. If she was asking specifically about that piece, it might be different, but we're learning in this episode how to reduce hand tension. This is something I actually have had a lot of breakthroughs on as of late. I attended an amazing academy in Cleveland, and the teacher there was just brilliant, and there was a lot of light shed on this question of how do I really loosen up with my hands, and how do I maintain that effortlessness while still maintaining structure. A lot of people might get tense, so like I think that's the third movement of the Beethoven she was asking for. And what I like to think about is whenever I have quick little passages like this, I like to practice note to note. I'm going to demonstrate a lot with the Grand Polonaise. I've been working on that personally a lot by Chopin, and hopefully it can help. It's the same concept, so it's not really all that different. So I like to think of having no tension from key to key, but still maintaining structure. And I like to think of like taking each note, grabbing each note a little bit. You're not pulling back on the key, you're just physically choosing to play that note and to pull back on it just slightly. You're not really like stroking it all the way back, it's just that motion, you know, a nice strong, solid motion. And when I say that, a lot of people say, oh my gosh, okay. You know, when you have tension, you're less accurate as well, rather than so. How can you kind of get that loosened feeling? So first I start no tension, key to key, and one thing you don't want to do is have hand positions. Okay, so here's my one hand position. And then, switch. So on the Beethoven, again, I'm just playing by ear. I don't have the score with me. You know, if you have all that tension, but think about not holding your hand in this position, then that position. So again, think about just each finger is independent of anything else. And I like to think about shaking out my wrist a little bit before I start. And don't be too high, but don't also be so low, because that creates tension and that creates weakness. So you want to just be at a nice, comfortable hand position. And then I like to take one little impulse at a time. And if that's too much, it's just a series of experimentations, having your hand loose. See, and I'm thinking the whole time I'm being completely loose. It's okay to miss notes. I missed some notes in there, but that's okay, because what you're training your hands to do is to be completely loose. You can make mistakes in your practice as long as you go back and fix them. You saw that I kind of did something like this, something like that. Okay, now I've got it. So doing little impulses like that greatly helps you to stay completely loose. Don't ever try and take a whole section at a time, and especially like, gosh, now I've lost my place. Okay. that's taken hours and hours of work just to get just so light like that. You're just going to take those tiny little pieces and master each little piece and then put it together, the whole while being loose. Okay, let's get into a different concept of reducing hand tension. If we're doing octaves, and I actually am going to demonstrate with a different part of that. This is how I used to play them. No, not terrible, but it's definitely not that great. I hate that because it's full of tension, and when you're full of tension, especially in a high pressure performance, you lose a lot of your charisma and your charm, and you end up just getting this harsh sound, and you actually end up being a lot more inaccurate. That's one concept. If anyone takes anything from this video, remember this: the looser you are, the more accurate you are. That is a concept it's taken me forever to learn, because I always thought, the looser you are, the less in control you are, and the tighter you are, at least you're in control. The sound might not be the best, but you're more in control. That's completely false. You're more in control when you're loose. So what I did to get better at these, I would take the general motion that I wanted, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but this is how I'd start. You barely hear the melody amidst that. It was like dusting the keys off, okay? And that motion is actually really good for a lot of different things. So, again, just taking small pieces. Sounds so much more effortless, and you have to keep practicing. Same thing on this. I like a little bit higher wrist. Helps me a little bit, but again, that's personal preference. And then I try to do things in one movement. Down, up, down, up. Ah, gosh dang. There. Just as many times as it takes. Again, the whole section. So that has helped me be loose right there. Last thing that I want to present is just quick little fleeting passages. I kind of did that at the beginning, but think about just kind of letting your hand float, and your fingers are taking each little key. Your active fingers, very loose wrist. Wrists are always loose, very active fingers. If you're playing this, very quick little section. My wrist is completely loose, and my fingers are just choosing which keys to go to. This is a very hard concept, but it will help a lot if you just start thinking about these ideas and you start practicing just little impulses, very, very short impulses, and doing those with no tension at all. That's how you start, and then as you increase your speed, you'll eventually be able to do it in up to tempo, and it's just the most freeing feeling in the world. So thank you for your support, everybody. I really appreciate it. And if anyone has any questions about hand tension or any other questions you'd like me to answer, feel free to email me. My email is josh@joshwrightpiano.com. Thanks for joining me today.